So we have our winners from each quadrant. So we're going to go ahead and have 4 presentations. They'll be about 3 to 5 minutes. And then you guys can be prepared. There'll be time to ask questions. So if there's something really interesting or something you want more information about, go ahead and raise your hand at the end and we'll answer questions. At the very end, we will also have a raffle. So make sure you complete your student evaluation and put it either in the box to your right or the box over here. And we'll be raffling off like 15 different prizes based on just pulling your names out of the surveys, okay? So with no further ado, for our first presentation from the, let's see here, yellow quadrant is climate change.
Good afternoon, everybody. My name is Alejandro. I'm joined up here by Stephanie and Karen. Thank you guys for having us here. We really appreciate it. So, we're going to get started with the issues of climate change. Thank you.
So a common misconception about climate change is that it can be used interchangeably with global warming. And global warming, however, only refers to the Earth's rising surface temperature, and climate change refers to the change in weather patterns over time. And some of the health effects of climate change include chronic respiratory diseases such as bronchitis and asthma, and work-related injuries for people who work in the extraction of fossil fuels, and also developmental issues.
Yeah, and with that, some of the economic issues that come along with that is that healthcare. People have to spend money up to nationwide annually $886 billion paying for healthcare services in order to counteract the many issues that come with climate change, as well as reparations that come from having to repair things from natural disasters, such as earthquakes and flooding, which can be up to $2.7 billion, which was the number that cost California in 2015 alone. And this isn't even to take into account the agricultural deficits that come with climate change, because agricultural productivity will decrease because of things like rising temperatures and a lack of rainfall.
So as my dear Alejandro talked about, many of the environmental effects are like the rate at which natural disasters have increased. We have rising sea levels, biodiversity loss, and we have all these things that account for climate change, for problems of climate change to be seen worldwide. And because of this, we know we did this project not because it was going to be easy, but because we knew that it not only affected Los Angeles, nor California, nor the United States, it affects us worldwide. So it's a problem that each and every one of us has to be facing every single day. So therefore, we have come up with solutions to try and face this ourselves.
So my proposed solution would be to alter Senate Bill 350. And Senate Bill 350 was actually passed in 2015 in California, and it was composed of 2 main components. The first one being the Renewable Portfolio Standard, which asks corporations to receive their electricity from renewable energy sources, and for that to see an increase of 50%. And the second component was corporations to see an increase of 50% for their energy efficiency. And before this bill was passed, there was another provision that was lobbied out by petroleum industries, and that required for the state of California to see a 50% decrease in their usage of petroleum. And my proposed solution would be to reinstate that into the bill.
So my solution was to, in case you didn't know, California is one of the greenest states that exist in the United States. Therefore, I have proposed to provide a nationwide smog check for everyone nationwide. Because California, let's say you bought a car in 2015. You have to emit now in 2017 the same amount of carbon dioxide as you did in 2015. That's basically a regulation that is found with the smog check, and because of this, I want to implement this nationwide.
And one more solution that we had was to increase the amount of subsidies that would not only apply to regular people and citizens who are living in regular homes, but also to energy companies, because currently there is a 30% 30% subsidization on dwelling units, so where people live. And that's if you want to install solar panels on your home, there's a 30% subsidization. But that doesn't apply to power companies, which are still predominantly using coal to fire their power plants, which is a big issue because if it just remained to dwelling quarters and people's homes, that's not enough to counteract the amount of coal that's being burned to give power to everyone else in the United States. So if that subsidy was to apply to power plants as well, we can create a larger nationwide network of clean energy that could not only sustain businesses, but other people's homes who may not be able to account for the cost of solar energy, as well as the people who already do have that. So the civic action that we decided to take was to write a petition to the Department of Energy to do just what I was talking about, to increase the amount of subsidies that would apply to power companies in order to, like I said, increase the network that we have of solar energy. Are there any questions? Well, with the current administration, we obviously see that there's a favorable, mechanism and staying the way we are, no whole nuclear. So I think it's really something that's going to come from the people. And like we're here, we're very passionate about this, and I think other people will too. You can sort of see the common goal in this, and that what we're doing now is not the same thing. We're ultimately damaging our world. So I think it's really comes to the experts, people, and how much they want to care about their business.
Our next group from the pink quadrant is animal testing.
So my name is Evelyn, this is Leandra, Erica, and Wendy, and I help you as well animal testing and how it's a problem. How it's a problem because it affects the economy, our health, and the environment.
So currently there is an estimated 100 million animals that are used every year in the United States for commercial and scientific research. So the next slide is a little bit disturbing, but it is the reality. It's not happening So it affects our health because animals have like differences in their DNA than us, which although it is very similar, it does leave a lot of room for error. Like this piece of data that I found, over 85 HIV vaccines failed in human testing after working well on non-human primates. So it affects our economy because it is way more expensive to test on an animal than it is to use an alternative. To test just a simple skin corrosion on a rabbit, it costs $1,800, while an in vitro test, which uses human cells, is $850. And as well, the U.S. government spends $16 billion of taxpayers' money on animal testing. It affects the environment because a lot of these companies that use animal testing don't dispose of the bodies well enough, meaning that when they're going through the decomposition process, and all the chemicals in these animals are being sinking into our soil and affecting our underwater health.
So one law that's in place right now that's supposed to protect animals in research institutions is the This law is meant to regulate the treatment of animals in research institutions, but the problem with this policy is that it only protects warm-blooded animals and it excludes cold-blooded animals and farm animals. So what we want to do to solve our problem is to change the Animal Welfare Act so that it encompasses all animals, not just warm-blooded animals. Because right now, currently, 95% of the animals that are tested on are like mice and rats, and they are not protected under the Welfare Act. So that means that the Animal Welfare Act isn't actually working to protect these animals. And also, we want to mandate the use of alternative methods whenever possible. Like my roommates have mentioned, it is more costly to use animals, and it also wastes a lot of money, and you can't really apply it to humans. Can you go back?
Okay, hi, I'm going to talk to you about an alternative method to animal testing. This is a skin test that you can use where you create a environment that uses false human skin cells by taking the skin cell of someone and then duplicating it, as you can see here. And so basically you would be submitting that to UV irradiation for 24 hours. After that, through the staining and different things as like that, you can figure out whether or not certain chemicals used in cosmetic products will be negatively affecting the human skin. That is very important because, of course, in a cosmetic product, it's necessary that it doesn't cause any irritation, and this method is also a lot cheaper than using animal testing, which is more economically efficient.
So for our civil action, we created a petition on change.org, and it received 1,900 signatures so far, and it spread worldwide, and we're getting comments from other countries such as Germany, Canada, UK. And so what we emphasized in this petition was the effects and the problem of animal testing and how our policy will fix it. And so what this is important because to keep in mind, countries like the European countries, they've already enforced that animals cannot be tested on for cosmetic uses. So it makes it possible or makes it more achievable for our goal to be reached in the US to be moving towards these more cost-effective and health-effective research. Any questions?
From the orange quadrant, the winner is homelessness. We have homelessness come up from the orange quadrant.
We are here to present our Civic Action project on homelessness. Our Civic Action project, the
society and aren't part of it. When choosing what issue we were going to tackle, we immediately thought of homelessness. Reasons we decided to choose this issue was because homelessness aren't part of our society, and at the same time we're trying to fight for their services, at the same time their rights, and at the same time trying to defend their word because they're ignored.
Our group wanted to advocate for the passage of the Los Angeles Affordable Housing Linkage Fee. The linkage fee is a policy that taxes developers to generate revenue for affordable housing. However, we wanted this policy to be modified so that it included housing and services for homeless people. As you can see on the screen, these are some of the steps that our group took to make our action possible. We read 2 books and connected it to homelessness. After this, we delivered our public comment speeches at City Hall to LA City Council members. Lastly, we created a PSA to send to City Council members to advertise our demand.
So what we learned about public policy, that a policy can place a positive effect in our community. As an individual, we can change, modify, and implement a new policy. So how does this connect to our issue to policy? So at the City Council, we saw that the City Council acts as a executive branch and authorized government to implement a new policy.
So for our project, we created a 3-minute speech speaking about homelessness, at the same time speaking about the background of the affordable housing linkage fee. At the same time, creating these 3 speeches were a big challenge for us because it was a struggle cutting down certain information that we wanted the city council members to actually hear. We weren't sure how much time we were going to be given because before getting there, we had either a 3-minute, 2-minute, or a 1-minute speech. So what we decided to do is, just to be prepared, we created 3 speeches which were all the same, but were just cut down in information. It was really difficult for us to do this because we had to memorize all 3 just in case we were either given the 3-minute, 2-minute, or 1-minute speech.
So the impact of our project. So during our speeches, we were able to share out our demand towards the homeless, and even our own group was able to connect to our audience by critically speaking in our speeches for the homeless in our community.
What we learned through this project is that we, the students, are the future of our community and are capable of having our demand be heard. By speaking out to others about homelessness in LA area, we learned how students are capable of making social change. Thank you.
Any questions?
So our last group from the green quadrant is colony collapse disorder.
So hello everyone. Our topic for our Civic Action project was colony collapse disorder. My name is Zoe Mercado. This is Karen Mendoza. That's Natalia Martinez, and that's Maria Hernandez. So CCD, short for colony collapse disorder, is basically when beehives collapse because worker bees migrate away from their home and the colony collapses and the bee mortality rates are increasing, which means the population is decreasing. Okay, so some of the causes of colony collapse disorders are pesticides, pollution, malnourishment, viruses, parasites, loss of genetic variation, and also parental and migratory beekeeping. But what we're going to focus on is on pesticides because it affects the bees' immune and nervous system. So some of the health impacts of colony collapse disorder is that they're one of the biggest pollinators in the world. They create 1/3 of our food. So what this would mean, most of our diets are composed of dairy foods and other processed foods. So without the bees, it would mean that there would be less food diversity with fresh fruits and vegetables. And there would be a rise in obesity rates and diabetes.
So the economic impact of CCD is that there would be an increase in food price because farmers would have to pay more for pollination services. So for example, it's already happening in California with our almond growers because in 2003 they had to pay around $50 per hive, and in 2003 they paid $157 per hive, and this price is still increasing.
Some of the environmental impacts include that bees are a keystone species to us, meaning that not only do we as humans depend on them for food, but so do plants and animals, and meaning that without them, whole species could also collapse because of their reliance on food. And another environmental impact is that it decreases biodiversity because which is the genetic diversity within a species. And one example of this is that plants rely on bees to reproduce, so without them we would see a depletion in the variety of plants that we see around us.
So another part of our project was to conduct a poll within our community, and we were able to get about 60 people to participate. Some of the questions we asked regarded how much people knew about the topic itself, and we saw that people believed that bees did have an impact on our economy. They just didn't know how extensive or how major it was on our economy. And we also asked them if they believe that certain pesticides like neonicotinoids should be banned, and the majority said that they agreed with that regulation. Okay, so one of our solutions was an incentive-based policy, which would mean for California farmers, they would get a 2% tax cut if they had a designated bee area, which would have herbs and other seasonal flowers. And how would we keep it a balance so that we're not just cutting taxes? We would raise the taxes for mining companies, such as California gold mining. And what this would create, it would move farmers from this monoculture system, which means they plant a single plant in one certain area, to a polyculture, which would mean there'd be a larger diversity of food. And it would also increase their money. What they would do with their money is to buy the other supplies, such as colonies.
So for our Civic Action, we created a petition asking our 2 senators, Kamala Harris and Dianne Feinstein, to support the 2% tax cut in state level.
So another part of our solution was to keep it local. We thought that it was a bit more realistic than trying to go straight to federal government. So in order to do this, we looked at the LA County budget for transportation, which is about $1.07 million. And we thought if we could reallocate about 5% of those funds into community awareness programs or even community gardens in certain neighborhoods, we thought that it could create increased awareness, and also people would be more likely to engage with the issue and try to solve it at its root. We also encourage, as you can see in the pictures, I'm not sure if you can see it clearly, but some countries have already started to create bus top gardens, which means it's basically like a box garden on top of a bus stop, and you can the city can start planting plants like lavender that increase and create a food supply for bees, and will help the wild bee population increase over time.
And we found this to be the most realistic solution because as Los Angeles has one of the largest transportation systems, it makes it easier for us to meet our goal of reviving the bee population by having so many wildflowers on all the various bus stops that we have in the city.
questions?
How many of you know about this? There was a collapse in the bee colony. So you guys all pretty good ones there to do about it? All right. Thank you. So, we're getting close to being done. Thank you so much. Just another one big round of applause for everybody. I saw some amazing projects when I was walking around, and we will be featuring some projects on our CAP website. If you haven't done so, please turn in your evaluations. I'll give you another minute real quick. We'll do the Raffle Prizes. Gregoria will say a few closing words, and then we will be done. Bear with me, there's 16 prizes. There'll be 16 lucky winners. And just so you know, everyone who won and did the presentation, they also received a $10 Starbucks card as well as a flash drive. So thank you, winners. Okay. All right, so the lanyard goes to Casey Corona from Aspire.
over. I know your buses are going to be picking you up if they're not already waiting for you. So I just want to thank all of you for all of the effort you put in over the last week. Particularly your teachers, because we couldn't and wouldn't do this without the support of all of your teachers. So if you could please give your teachers a great round of applause. We saw some really great presentations today. I just want to remind you, we have a cap contest for cash prizes, and I believe we're extending that deadline to June 2nd. Go to the CAP website, find out how you can be eligible, submit some of these presentations, because some of these are definite winners. So please go to that website, look to see how you can enter that contest, and thank you very much, all of you. You're experts on everything you studied and presented today. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you.
You guys want your tablet?